Hey everybody, Will from 1 Kilo here. Today I'm here to save you from stupid core exercises. The way weightlifters normally train their trunk is ineffective and sometimes even dangerous. So I'm gonna show you the best ways to get a super strong trunk to be a better weightlifter. And that's coming up right now. Hey all, glad you're here. If it's your first time here, 5th time, 10th time, please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know every time I have a new video coming out. All right, so first things first, let's stop calling it your core. We don't call these your outers or your appendages. We call them what they are, your arms. And this right here in the middle, that's your trunk. So we're gonna talk about serious trunk training as we try and get extremely strong for weightlifting. Second thing then is that we need to stop training your trunk for show, right? Show muscles are flexion, flexion, flexion. Terrible sit up after terrible sit up, and you're gonna get really great looking show muscles, but you're not gonna have great looking go muscles in the middle. Your trunk is designed for a specific purpose. Your trunk is supposed to keep you upright, keep you stable, and help you move big weights, okay? And this kind of thing isn't gonna help. So what is the real role of the trunk and the real function of the trunk as we lift weights? And I'm gonna take this from a talk that a good friend of mine, Mike Robertson, did a bunch of years ago at my old gym called Force Fitness. And he did a talk about trunk training, right? And what we talked about was the 2 R's of your trunk. And one is that our trunk redistributes force, right? So think about a suspension bridge, right? This is just supposed to keep us upright and keep us walking and not wobbly. It redistributes the force that the body has like moving through it at any given time, right? If your body wasn't good at that, you'd walk kind of funky, right? The second role, the one that's more important in weightlifting, is redirect, right? The trunk redirects forces. So think about this. We're pushing into the ground, our legs are creating a ton of force, and it is pushing through the ground, and it's gonna exhibit itself in hands going overhead, hands going here, right? That's redirecting force from the ground through the trunk, bam, right into the bar as we rack it, as we put it overhead. So we need a core that is really good. So we need a trunk that is really good at redirecting force. It has to be able to hold positions, right? If this is floppy, when we try and drive through our legs, we're gonna get too much extension backwards. Gonna be poor redirection of force. If we pull off the ground, we're gonna get flexion forward. So what we want to do is get a trunk that is stable and sturdy and can keep us in great positions. So our goal with our trunk is to think about stable and sturdy. So all the exercises I'm gonna show you here are gonna be us fighting for great position under load. And that's a big thing, is we're going to do a ton of loaded trunk training. So that's coming up, my favorite exercises to train your trunk. My top exercises for the trunk in weightlifting is the bird dog, but no ordinary bird dog. The way I like to do it is a bird dog with a sandbag drag. And you could do this with a kettlebell, or you could use a handled plate or something like that. But we do want something that we can reach across, and we're gonna drag underneath the body as the opposite leg goes back. So if you're reaching with your right hand, your left leg's kicking back. If you're reaching with your left hand, your right leg's kicking back. We're working on that diagonal sling, connecting the trunk all the way from the shoulders to the lower body, right? The hips extending, the arms are doing work. That is that transmission of force across your core, so that is or across your trunk. See, I said it again. But we're gonna think about that kind of movement. The way we can make that harder is you can just pop your knees off the ground. So instead of having knees on the ground, hands on the ground, you're gonna have toes on the ground, hands on the ground, and we're gonna do that kind of opposite reach. Pull with the right hand, kick with the left leg, pull with the left hand, kick with the right leg. So we're trying to make the trunk transmit force, lower body to upper body, working in unison. So this is a great exercise, super hard, go slow, and you will feel these. The next one we're going to do is a side plank with row. And what we're doing with this row is we're not actually pulling in, we're pulling across the body, trying to take that shoulder blade from protraction to retraction, and all the while engaging those obliques as we do the side plank, right? So we're not gonna have any lateral bending. We want to think about creating a trunk that is really stable in all planes, in all directions. And this version of a side plank, you can do a normal side plank, obviously. A Copenhagen plank is another great option. But this side plank is a really, really, really challenging exercise. What we're trying to do is get that upper body involved. Again, we're driving up, making the hips stabilize, making the trunk stabilize, the obliques, and then doing a row as well. So this is a super good exercise to develop a really strong trunk. All right, my next favorite trunk exercise is an oldie. I mean, you've seen this a million times on an infomercial. It's an ab rollout, okay? But this is a very particular way to do an ab rollout. I am very particular about these. This is not like hips in, hips out, like inchworm going in and out. What we're trying to do is think about a dynamic plank position. So what we're gonna start out with is an ab rollout on a ball. So my forearms are resting on the ball, or my hands are resting on the ball. I'm tight and straight, and I'm just falling like a tree, and my hands go out. My core, my trunk is staying super stabilized the entire time. So watch as I roll out, roll back. The hips are not leading, it's just a tip and a back up, okay? You can make the ball one harder and harder by putting the ball further away, so less and less of your hands on the ball. And then we would progress to an ab rollout on just the typical roller. And these super cheapo ones you could get any place are perfect for these. So grab one. This is one of the most challenging exercises. Start in a plank-like position, let the hands go out so it's a destabilized plank, and then bring them back under you. Don't go hips back, hips forward, hips back, hips forward like you might typically see. So when we're talking about the trunk, we want 360 degrees of bracing. So we want rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, we want obliques on the side, and we need those erector spinae on the back side that are going right up the sides of the spine. We want those to be extremely strong as well, and all the supporting structures like quadratus lumborum, etc., etc. But one of my favorite ones to do for that backside, besides my posterior chain video, you can see it right here, specifically for the backside and these erectors, we want to do reverse hypers. And I set up in a very particular way. If you notice on the bench here, my athlete is kind of at an angle. Her torso is tilted up and she's actually supported on her forearms. And I don't want her low back to go into flexion. I want it to stay neutral, and then she's gonna drive into extension. So neutral to extension, you're gonna feel she should feel, or my athlete should feel, a really, really concerted contraction in the glutes, erectors, and hamstrings. And we wanna feel that and hold that. We wanna go slow, drive the hips up, and feel that great position. So I do these in a very particular way. So pay attention, this is directly for the erectors. Some athletes are pretty flexion intolerant, so I try to keep that out of the program so we don't do those full-on reverse hypers like you might see from Westside Barbell, but that's just a personal preference. So try these reverse hypers. All right, I saved the best trunk exercise for last. This one is super challenging and will just get every bit of the trunk going, okay? This is called leg threading, and I stole this directly from Josh Hankin and Jess Bento at ultimatesandbagtraining.com. So go check them out. They are incredible. This is one of their exercises. What we're gonna do is we have a sandbag on the shoulder, and the sandbag is the perfect thing. We've got a shouldered sandbag. We're basically starting by doing a Turkish get up all the way to the bridge position. So roll to the elbow, keeping that torso long, right? We're not crunching, we're rolling, so we're getting some transverse plane kind of stuff. We're gonna post up on the hand. Now we're doing real set up, those rectus abdominis, those are actually working, right? And then we're gonna bridge hard. So the bridge is posterior chain, right? So now once we're up in that bridge position, instead of standing up and finishing Turkish get up, we're sticking that leg through. We're threading the leg through. We're gonna end up in almost like a side plank position. So now we're getting the obliques. So we've just moved in every plane. We've almost gotten 360 degrees of trunk activation. Rectus abdominis, we've got the obliques going, we've got the erectors going all in one motion. And this is killer. This is such a good exercise. You have to include it in your trunk training to be a good weightlifter. All right, thank you so much for joining me again on 1 Kilo here for more weightlifting videos. Those are my best trunk exercises. Oh no with the core, only with the trunk. Best trunk exercises. I hope you guys will try them out. If you guys have made it this far, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and leave a comment. Let me know what videos you want to see coming up, or let me know if you tried leg threading, because that is some seriously hard movements right there. So anyways, leave me a comment, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I will see you next week. So the two purposes we do think about when we talk about the core, mother fudge.